four panelists I'll mention next, but if you've got questions, this is going to be kind of like a general kind of Q&A. So if you've got questions, feel free to tweet them at DeliverConf, and we're going to pull them up and use that as a part of the conversation. We'll also kind of be around with the microphone as well to keep things going. So Sally Robinson is on stage now. Sally is a project manager at Corporation Pop. We met a few years ago. We were talking about this last night at the PM Summit, and I think she might mention some of our friends here in the room, but you're going to talk about kind of coming back into project management, which is an interesting take that I'm looking forward to hearing. So everyone welcome Sally. Thank you.
Basically, Rebecca and Sania, both of them were pretty much my personalities that were up here on the stage. So, imposter syndrome. So, yeah, this will come out in the presentation and probably in the delivery. So, please bear with me. So, yeah, I wasn't even managing projects 3 years ago. So, it's a real privilege to be able to stand up here today at the Deliver Conference, which was where my DPM journey restarted a couple of years ago. So my talk is about coming back to project management, as Brett said, thank you. So once a project manager, always a project manager. First things first, you know my name's Sally Robinson. I'm a project manager at Corporation Pop, and we're a really forward-thinking agency who puts the user at the heart of the delivery plan. No two projects are ever the same. We work across a variety of platforms, mobile applications, VR projects and websites. As a team, we are pushed out of our comfort zones daily, which puts us all into a perpetual learning curve and can sometimes put us in unfamiliar surroundings like speaking to you all today and doing the thriller dance here. We work to an agile methodology, but we aren't purists. We've got our own hybrid process that recognises that sometimes big design is needed up front, or there are lots of dependencies in the life cycle of the project. That's the team. Good guys. So back to where I fit into this. I want to tell you a little bit about my journey as to how I got here today. So it started in 1999. I originally moved to London. I was only 9 years old, so I started young. But my fortunes quickly changed, and I learned the ropes fast. It was all offline back then. Emails hadn't long been the norm. Most digital chatter was around the impending doom of the Y2K bug and So, and I started working on, all the cool kids had Nokia 3210s. Sorry, my slide's gone a bit fast. All the cool kids had Nokia 3210s in their pockets, and Craig David was popular first time round, allegedly. So that's how I've got to here. So 8 years later, I left agency life behind and London. By then, I could manage offline projects end to end. I could organise photo shoots and buy print for complex direct mail. I'd worked on pan-European campaigns for Canon, brochures for Harrods, sent sand through the post for Thomas Cook, which wasn't timely because it was just after the Ryson had been intercepted at the White House. I think that was 2002, 2003. So I left agency life to be a mum. I was ready. I was ready to skip away from the late nights, waiting on Cyrillic translations to mount artwork for a campaign that made cigarettes sexy for Russian 20-somethings. I was ready. Oh, sorry. I'm going back, I'm jumping back. Bear with me. I'd had my fill of managing resource around creative teams that wouldn't work on such campaigns for cigarettes because, it's morally wrong. Managing the resource, going back to what Sarah was saying, is, around those kinds of teams who kind of, on top of all the other resource issues that people have, people actually won't work on some of these products because they don't agree with them. So we had the army, but people won't work on the army because they were conscientious objectors. We had a whiskey product campaign that people wouldn't touch, wouldn't go near, basically, because they were just, all these reasons, all very good reasons, but, as a project manager, at the end of the day, you're solving problems and you've kind of got to carry on and just find somebody that's going to work on that job. So it was a logistical nightmare, but it was enough to make me think I was ready for coffee mornings with the Mum Brigade. And that was saying something. And with all my experience, I was surely ready to manage a much smaller human being, yes?
No. I was not ready. I was suddenly out of control. He was the driver, I was the passenger, in hurtling towards anarchy with a one-foot dictator at the wheel on this big, crazy parental fun bus. He said when, he said how, he said where, but that had been my job, or it had, you know, it was, but not as not dictator, obviously. Not there. I was methodological in everything I did. I tried to apply the critical path in mundane tasks. I tried to be efficient. Timing had been everything, and then wham, this brand new human being turned my semi-perfectly organised life into chaos. I'll apologise now if this all seems a little self-indulgent. I don't, you know, I'm not consciously wanting to talk about myself, but it's really kind of about how the journey and all the offline background to what I've got and how it's kind of relevant to what I'm doing now. And the realisation I had at the first DPM UK 14 conference is relevant. So when the opportunity to attend the conference presented itself, I was working part-time at Corporation Pop, and there was a project management role on offer. By now my kids were school age, they follow me everywhere. So arguably I already had 2 demanding clients with high expectations, little budget and a long-term delivery plan. So I was ready to take more on. I had first refusal, but I didn't think I could do it or wanted to do it, which comes back to the imposter syndrome. And so the conference was a really good starting point. So these are the facts that I absolutely knew before attending the conference 4 years ago. I'd certainly forgotten everything I'd ever learned about project management. It had just gone away, it disappeared. I'd obviously winged it first time round, but was just never found out. So very relevant today. Really good talk. A lot of me was in that talk. And it couldn't possibly fit around family life. So you know, it's not a long list, but I guess they're all fairly critical if I was going to get back into the game. So I went along to DPM UK in 2014 to see if I might have the fire in my belly to help make projects happen, to get a feel for whether I could make the leap to digital projects in an agile environment as a mum returning to full-time work. So one of my main takeaways after attending the conference, the more things change, the more they stay the same. So yeah, going back to some of the years about the tools, all the additional software that we now use and that kind of help make our lives easier or harder, you know, that's new. But pretty much the more things change, the more they stay the same. Okay, a few more things that I've learned from the conference. All PMs have worked with at least one annoying client or product owner. I'm sorry if someone's just sprang into your mind now that you're trying to escape from today. But yeah, so I'd say that's a good fact. All clients have at least one ridiculous deadline, budget, or both. So, but you know, you're all here today, so it's doable, okay? So, no 2 PMs use the same software for the same task. So, I know, Shahina, you did a talk yesterday, didn't you, a workshop about all the different tools that are out there. And everybody, you know, everybody does use something different because we've all got different clients, we've all got different teams that work in different ways. So there's Jira, Harvest, Resource Guru, Traffic, Trello, Basecamp, Workbook. Of course, there are other project management software options available, hundreds probably. That's why we wash up. So no project has the perfect formula. So we always, you know, retrospectives, we're always learning and adapting and improving, you know, selfishly or as a team, but we, you know, we're always moving forwards. All project managers need support, which is why this conference and others like it exist. Obviously, this is the best one. So, you know, we're all here today kind of trying to take something away from the people that kind of stand on the stage and all the conversations that we have out in the bar area. So the dawn of enlightenment for me was this. In the 8 years I'd actually been away from project management, nothing fundamental had actually changed. The problems that we faced as project managers a decade ago are the same. I was in familiar territory and actually was home. I've got on the screen one of the 4 Agile manifestos, one of the 4 principles. So in the Agile manifesto, interaction individuals over processes and tools. As project managers, we need to solve problems daily, to communicate constantly and ultimately get the best out of everybody we converse with. I could do this, I thought. after the conference. I was already doing it. Everything else was just kind of the gravy. I realised very quickly that I still had the drive and ability that I had pre-kids when I worked in London agencies on offline projects. Back when I had a spring in my step and a Nokia 3210 in my pocket, the principles were the same, but the people and the projects were not. It made me seriously interrogate what it was that I felt I could give to Corporation Pop that wasn't outdated. It certainly couldn't be my evenings, which I so freely gave up in my 20s. I wasn't naive. I was under no illusion that I had 1,000,001 things to learn to get to where I am right now, and I still have 1,000,000 more. Working at Corporation Pop throws up additional challenges as my colleagues throw themselves into new technologies all the time. I've ditched DPI for pixels, scamps for wireframes, and sign-off stickers for acceptance certificates. I've realised that regardless of the project, there'll always be schedules to create, expectations to manage, dramas, highs, lows, frustrations, needy clients, frustrated clients, busy clients, the list goes on. But listening to my potential peers back in 2014 made me feel I could grab the reins again and tackle all these things head on. I could at least give it a whirl. Cut to January 2017, I'm stood here now. I'm a qualified agile practitioner in a supportive and forward-thinking agency speaking at DeliverConf. I learn so much every day. I have the inspiration from DPM UK to thank for this, from the presenters that year with Brett and Sam, and all the short networking conversations I had in between. It feels good that it's kind of come full circle. Sorry, that's not working at all. If you're thinking there's so much to learn and understand, well, kind of, but take it back to basics, because as long as you're having the right conversations with the right people at the right time, you're halfway there. We learn, we evolve, we adapt. If you are solutions-driven and get a kick out of helping the team deliver, be it waterfall, agile, then it's unlikely that instinct will go away. I've been invited into a DPM forum recently, which Shahina was mentioned again earlier, and on Slack, and Matt, obviously. And I'm relieved to see my peers, people who I deem to be more experienced than myself, asking for advice, and I find that comforting. And the advice, well, it's just that, isn't it? One size certainly doesn't fit all. So, thank you.
Thanks so much, Sally. Really interesting talk for me, because I think it's a little frustrating to hear things haven't changed. But I think that events like this will help to kind of bring more change. And I think we're seeing we're creeping along a little bit. Anyway, does anyone have any questions for Sally? One right back here. Just wait for the mic for me.
I was just going to ask about how you manage to fit working in an agency around your family life, because they're not necessarily always very compatible things.
No, they're not. I do feel really fortunate, actually, because, well, two reasons. Where I work, I'm really supportive, and I don't work full time, but I'm available pretty much all the time. And my husband, who snuck in just before I started talking, we divvy it up, we share it, and I've got a really good family as well. My parents help out a lot. So when I'm not there, they are, and yeah, I know that's not really easy for everybody else, but yeah.
Anyone else? Oh, right here.
Hiya, really great talk, really enjoyed it. I have a question as to when you were going back into PM work. Was Corporation Pop your first stop, or did you say no to a few just to find the right agency?
Well, I was already there, fortunately. I was working part-time, so I was kind of in that environment, and they knew my background, and they thought maybe one day they might be able to tap into it, and hopefully. So yeah, and then it kind of happened. It just happened at the right time. So yeah, the time imposter syndrome, the timings were all there. I was lucky.
Anyone else? No? Okay. Well, thank you again, Sally.
Thank you.